Hey friends, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're back talking about Poppy Playtime Chapter 5. In particular, we will talk about the new launcher that will be released. As we all know, every time we launch Poppy Playtime, we don't go straight into the chapter, but the launcher opens first, letting us choose which chapter we want to play. This system was introduced for the first time with the release of Chapter 2, and from that point on, it has always been updated as new chapters came out. So it never stayed the same. It evolved together with the game. And obviously, with the arrival of Chapter 5, it's almost certain that we'll see a new launcher update. The real question is, how could it change this time? What could they add? In this video, we'll talk exactly about that. We'll try to understand what the new updated launcher could look like, when it might be released, and whether, as has happened in the past, it could hide important details linked to the story. And not only that, towards the end of the video, we'll also look at other news and connections still related to the Poppy Playtime series, because in this period, a lot of interesting things are happening, and some of them might be more connected than they seem. Before getting into it though, as always, if you enjoyed the video, you can leave a like, which helps the channel a lot. And if you're not subscribed yet, I recommend subscribing and turning on the notification bell so you don't miss the next videos about Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 ARG, theories and all the news. That said, let's get started and see what we know, what we can theorize about the launcher. First of all, let's start from the current launcher. What you are seeing on screen right now is the current Poppy Playtime launcher. The structure is now familiar. We can clearly see the presence of 4 panels, each one dedicated to one of the chapters released so far. Each panel represents a specific chapter and, most importantly, each one shows the main mascot of its corresponding chapter. This is a detail that Mob Entertainment has kept over time, and it definitely doesn't seem random. If we go back in time, before the release of Chapter 4, the launcher was basically identical to this one, but with only 3 panels dedicated to the first 3 chapters. With the release of Chapter 4, the launcher was updated by adding the 4th panel, while keeping the same visual and narrative logic. This already tells us that Mob Entertainment tends not to completely change the launcher, but to expand it in a coherent way. We can make our first considerations about the new update. With the arrival of Chapter 5, it is almost certain that we will see a 5th panel dedicated to the new chapter. And, following the pattern we've seen so far, this panel will also show the main mascot of Chapter 5. Who will this main mascot be? That mascot will be shown in the launcher. When could this new launcher be released? Here too, we can try to reason by looking at how they handled previous chapters, because Mob Entertainment tends to follow fairly precise patterns, especially when it comes to preparing the ground for a new chapter. So from this point on, we'll try to put all these elements together. The way the launcher has changed over time, the role of the mascots, and the choices made in the past. From there, we'll start building some theories about what the new Chapter 5 launcher could look like and when we might officially see it. First of all, let's talk about when the new launcher will be updated. To do this, as always, it makes sense to look at what has already happened in the past, because Mob Entertainment tends to be quite consistent with these things. If we analyze the previous chapters, we can notice that the launcher is not updated randomly, but always within a very specific time window. We are talking about the period between the release of the gameplay trailer and the actual release of the game. This time window is not chosen by chance, but is based on a specific reason. The reveal of the main mascot. Historically, the full face of the main mascot of each chapter is always revealed in the gameplay trailers, which are also the final trailers of the game. Before that moment, Mob Entertainment only leaves hints, teasers, silhouettes, or partial versions of the characters, but they always avoid showing the final design. A very clear example is Chapter 3. We already knew about Catnap, we had seen his plush, and we knew the character conceptually, but only in the final trailer did we actually see what Catnap really looks like in his bigger body version. Before that trailer, his complete appearance had never been officially shown. In the first trailer, Catnap was hidden behind the red smoke, so his face was not visible. A similar thing happened with Chapter 4. Until the release of the final trailer, it was not clear at all who the true main mascot of the chapter would be. Only after that trailer did we discover that it would be Doughy the Doffman, and most importantly, only there was his full design completely revealed. So the launcher cannot be updated before the final trailer, because the launcher always features the main mascot of the chapter, with their face clearly visible. Updating the launcher earlier would mean spoiling the character's design, and this is something Mob Entertainment has always been very careful to avoid. Applying the same reasoning to Chapter 5, we can make a fairly solid prediction. The final gameplay trailer could be released around February 13 or 14, while the game itself is set to release on February 18. This creates exactly that classic time window we have already seen with previous chapters. As a result, it is very likely that the new launcher will be updated on a day in between, meaning after February 13 or 14 but before February 18. In that time frame, Mob Entertainment would finally be free to show the main mascot of Chapter 5 inside the launcher as well, without ruining the surprise effect of the final trailer. The new launcher will not arrive too early, but it also won't arrive together with the game's release. It will arrive at the right moment, when the face of Chapter 5 has already been officially revealed to everyone. Now let's talk about the main mascot of Chapter 5, which will appear in the launcher. According to most of the community, the main mascot of Chapter 5 will be the prototype. This theory mainly comes from what we can see on the Steam page of the game. If we look at the header image, we can clearly see a mechanical hand holding the head of a Poppy doll. It's a very strong and symbolic image, one that really seems to put the prototype at the center of everything, as if he's finally ready to step out of the shadows. That said, we need to be very careful because Mob Entertainment is known for plot twists. If we look at what happened in previous chapters, we can see that the community has often been convinced of one thing, only to later discover that the reality was completely different. Take Chapter 4 for example. Before the release of the final trailer, almost everyone was convinced that the main mascot that would appear in the launcher would be Dr. Sawyer. Even the Doctor is not a mascot. All the clues seem to point in that direction. And even before Dr. Sawyer was officially revealed, many people thought that Yarnaby would be the main mascot of the chapter. And instead, in the end, the final mascot was Doughy the Doughman, a character that completely overturned expectations. We know that Mob Entertainment loves to play with theories and lead the audience to make assumptions that get disproven at the last moment. For this reason, we have to seriously consider the idea that the prototype might not be the main mascot of Chapter 5, even if right now he seems like the most obvious candidate. Yes, he is the main antagonist of the series, but that doesn't necessarily mean he will be the face we see in the launcher. Personally, I find it hard to believe that Mob Entertainment would decide to fully reveal the face of the prototype before the game's release. He's a character that's too important, too mysterious, and showing him early could take away a lot of the impact he's supposed to have in-game. That's exactly why, in my opinion, we need to keep all possibilities open. The prototype could be at the center of Chapter 5 without being the launcher mascot, or we could be facing yet another surprise with a character that we're completely underestimating right now. Let me know in the comments what you think. Thank you so much for watching the video until the end. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell so you don't miss the next videos about Poppy Playtime. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.